Fast working?
Hey, folks, welcome to Movie Club Monday. I keep forgetting what the hell we're calling this, but we enjoy doing it, and I hope you do too. And here we are back to the Marvel Universe with Spider-Man 2, which at this point was pre-MCU. I'm Frank Gaffney. Amy Goldman is in bed for some reason. Don't know why. Joel has Doc Ock behind him. And Mark Wotitz Gardner has no graphic, just didn't care.
Lazy Sunday morning.
Lazy Sunday morning. And Annie King is folding laundry.
All done.
Oh, you're done. Okay. So this is Spider-Man 2 from 2004. The MCU didn't form until 2005. And director Sam Raimi is in the zone with this one. It really is, for me, the best Spider-Man movie, although I haven't seen the second Andrew Garfield movie.
Yeah, that's not going to change your opinion.
Exactly.
Okay, so here's the nits to pick. Peter, in his intro, says that MJ, something like, I live a life she can never be part of or something, but he left out, except when she gets kidnapped or is in danger every time, because she's a part of it. The guy on the balcony with the pizza boxes can't undo the bungee cord, but yet he has a slice of pizza. What? How did he get it out? All right. And now James Franco is the head of special projects at Oscorp. How many years has it been since the last movie? 2. Well, yay for nepotism. He had just
Is it really
inherited the
nepotism
company
if
and
father's
made
dead?
himself, and he just named himself the head of
Can
special
it
projects.
be nepotism if your father's dead?
He inherited the company? No, they kicked him out.
They tried to. He killed them all.
All right.
Yeah.
And MJ is still living next door to Peter, and Peter says, "Hey, you're still here." And my reply would be, "Yeah, I thought you would move away from your abusive father, but hey, you want to stay there."
I think they were both visiting. They were both home visiting family. I don't think
Why would
was
she
living there.
visit him? It would be like Amy visiting Joan. Why?
Because it was for Peter's birthday at Aunt May's house. So they were all there. She
Yes.
probably stopped in next door to see her asshole dad
And shoot him? That would have been a good.
and take out the garbage.
She went to bring him the money he came to the play to ask her for. So,
Exactly.
So why did he lose his Spidey powers? What did he go through? What was that?
It was a mental thing. He
Yeah.
was.
Oh, it was mental.
He
Yeah.
was going through a crisis of he didn't want to be Spider-Man anymore internally, so it manifested. This was a comic book storyline from the 60s that he actually does lose his powers because he doesn't want him. It's ruining his life.
Okay, so when Doc Ock first shows his octopussy, why this is like typical like a James Bond thing. Instead of just unplugging the machine, Spider-Man jumps up, and he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm unplugging the machine." "Oh, no, you're not." Instead of just unplugging it without telling him, warning him. So Aunt May goes to the bank, and she wants the free toaster for a $300 deposit for her new account. What is this, the 1950s? Did she save that coupon the whole time? And what bank keeps loose gold coins in bags in their vault?
All I
Only
can
in
think
a
of is
comic book.
when
Only in a
Doc
comic
Ock
book.
when Doc Ock walked away with it, I was like, how is he going to spend that money?
Yeah,
Well, they're not marked bills, so he doesn't have to worry about that aspect.
right. Well, they're chocolate. He's just going to eat them all. That's it. And is this Stan Lee's first appearance?
No, he was in the last movie.
Oh, was
Yeah.
he? Where was
Yeah.
he?
He was.
Second.
He did the exact same thing right before he pulled a kid away from being crushed by rocks.
All right, that was his thing.
He was also in the X-Men and stuff like that too in
He's
earlier
been in
years.
everything at this point.
How are Peter and MJ best friends? When did that happen?
Yeah. Yeah, because in the first movie, he said something like she doesn't even know he exists. I'm thinking they live right next door to each other.
And now
he's
they're
not
best
being
friends.
gazing into her bedroom every so often. So,
Yeah, while she dresses with the curtains open.
exactly.
Pervert.
And the way
My
she,
dream.
the
Yeah,
way,
really.
the way she put her hand on his cheek and was about to kiss him and then says, by the way, I have a boyfriend. Like, who would say that?
And again with the burning building. But this
Oh my God.
time the kid saves Peter. Are you fucking kidding me with that?
Yeah,
Please.
yeah.
And then on top of the train, here's another cliche I hate. Doc Ock is throwing people at one at a time so he could save them, throw another one, save them, throw another one. He has 4 arms. He could throw 4 people at once.
Well, theoretically, 2 of those arms are holding him onto the train.
All right, so he could throw 2 people. And
And he
rapid
did, just
fire.
not at
Boom,
once.
boom, boom.
And I always laugh through all the MCU movies and any superhero movie where they're standing on top of a train or a truck and they're going 100 miles an hour, but they're just standing there. You know, you put your hand outside the window when you're going 40, your hand throws back. But they're just hanging out with all the wind.
They have super powers.
Yeah.
And of course, all New Yorkers band together during a crisis.
Yeah.
It's a fact, motherfucker. That's what happens. And then the building falls on MJ and Spidey runs over and holds up the building. So I guess Aunt May was wrong. He is Superman. She was wrong. And okay, so in Spider-Man last week, Norman became insane because he injected himself with the serum. But here, Harry becomes insane because they're thinking they're going to make part 3. Okay,
They're not thinking. They know they're going to make part 3 at this point.
Yeah, that's a direct lead up. Yeah.
right, so sequel. But Sam Raimi is so inventive. I really love his camera work and his fun, very fun ideas. And you know, and even having the point of view of the arm with the camera and the arm.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say that the whole hospital scene was straight out of the Evil Dead when the arms are going after all the surgeons, killing
And
them.
we even had Bruce Campbell.
Well, he's in
Well,
all 3. He's one of my. He does a cameo in all 3, and
I was thinking he's the same guy, and he just moonlights as elevator operator. And
Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell have both kind of hinted at the fact that had they continued making movies with Spider-Man, that they would have revealed that his character actually was the same guy in all
that's
the
funny.
movies, and that he's Mysterio.
Oh, wow.
Is that right? That's great.
Yeah, they've kind of
Uh,
danced around that a few times in interviews over the years. So
so maybe
That's
that
funny.
will be the new Spider-Man movie. He'll be Mysterio. Is
sure,
Bruce Campbell in it?
if we're gonna have 60-year-old villains anyway, why not?
Yeah, I can't imagine Alfred Molina is going to be in good shape to be Doc Ock again.
They de-age him.
Yeah, he's been
They
CGI.
de-aged him. Yeah.
De-aging him. I'm hoping they're going to de-age Barbara Streisand for Gypsy, so she could look 50 again.
If they ever
All
make
right,
it.
so-
before she's-
Yeah.
All right, so 3.5 stars for me. I like this one better than last week, even with this stupidity things, but 3.5 stars is as far as I'll go. All right, so Anne, what did you think?
I didn't take notes, so it was a fun movie. I watched it. It was good, you know, I enjoyed it.
And
Couple
you've
of
seen
the
it
things-
before. I've seen this.
Yeah,
before.
I've seen it before.
I think
but
I
it's-
actually saw this one in the theaters too.
Yeah, I love the camera work, you know, I love it when he goes flying through the city and he's swinging through the city and everything. I love that. Some of the things that I didn't like was that everyone knows who he is now. The whole point of being Spider-Man with the mask is that nobody knows him, but
No, they're all going to keep it to themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, but not everybody knows. Aunt May still does not know.
right.
But we know she will know.
So, you know, I get it. It was a lot of teen angst and stuff, or, you know, an identity crisis kind of thing. But some of the scenes were like a little bit like, oh, enough already, you know. But it was good. I enjoyed it a lot.
And it was fun that they asked Kirsten Dunst to be an even worse actress in the play.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
definitely.
I like the scene in the elevator. I thought that was very, very funny.
Very
And then,
awkward. Yeah.
yeah, and then the extended version was funny also. That was really good too. The extended version of Jameson in the Spidey outfit was hilarious. That was great. Except, like, how would he fit into that? Peter was so much smaller,
Yeah.
but
For
Yeah.
those of you listening, there's the version that's on TNT, but then there's a version that's at 8 additional minutes in it, and that's what Annie's referring to, the deleted.
I wish I'd see that. That sounds fun.
It's
I sent you the extra scenes.
Oh, okay.
on YouTube.
just, it is an extended version. It's called Spider-Man 2.1 for whatever silly reason. It is not a director's cut. It's not something that Sam Raimi, he agreed to let Sony do it because Sony wanted to do a longer version with extra scenes when Spider-Man 3 came out. And Raimi was like, okay. He's like, you can't call it a director's cut because I prefer what I did. That was my final
Right.
cut.
That was my director's cut.
But he found stuff that he was willing to let them put back in. And, I think Frank found something that said that, it neither adds to nor detracts from.
I
the
didn't
finished
find
film.
that, Joel. Joel, that was the link that you sent us.
Oh, is it on the link
It
that I
said it
cited?
right on that page.
Okay, well, it does it adds 8 minutes, but it doesn't feel any longer or slower. The pacing of the film is not really affected by it. There's a couple of scenes that are slightly longer, slightly different. It adds a little more thematic stuff, but it is what it is. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, and once again, I mean, they gave him a little bigger role, but JJ is what's his name?
J.K. Simmons.
Jay Simmons. What? JJ Simmons, right?
J.K. Simmons, yeah.
JK.
JK
JK.
Simmons. Brilliant, just brilliant. They gave him a little more to do in this one, so it was fun.
Yeah.
All right, Anne, so what do you say?
3.5.
Yes.
I liked it just as much as I liked last week's.
Yeah, I think I like this one a little better. Don't you agree, Mark?
Yeah, definitely.
Wait, let me swipe so I could see Mark. Hello, Mark.
You just
Swipe
swiped
right,
on him.
Mark. That's a good.
Oh my.
You swiped right.
Yeah, definitely. This is it's 3 3/4 for me. It's definitely one of the best comic book movies ever, I would say, and easily the best Spider-Man. Alfred Molina, I thought, was just perfect, and both him and Rosemary Harris, I think, they bring a level of emotion that you don't normally see in comic book movies. I mean, every time Rosemary Harris was talking about Uncle Ben or money problems, I was like, tear.
Yeah, and she's a good action star. She was
Fantastic.
right there.
But
You
like,
go, girl.
how unbelievable is that she's hanging off a building? That was just crazy.
Yeah.
She's
Hanging
got
by an
tenacity.
umbrella.
And obviously she thought it was going to rain, but there were no clouds in the sky.
But that was silly. What else? Let's see. Story was great. Action was great. All the regulars did their part. Every time I watch this movie, I always smile during the raindrops montage. It's just a fun, silly part when he's happy and he's a nerd, and it's great. That's me in real life. Bruce Campbell, we'll go back to him. I'm a fan. I love every small but funny cameos. I forget if I mentioned this already. That next movie, I do like his cameo in that. Was one of the better parts of a not so great movie. Let's see. Oh, the next door neighbor, the landlord's daughter. I thought her crush on Pete was adorable. And so I like the train scene. I like the New York attitude. And at the end of the movie, Go Get 'Em Tiger. That's perfect MJ to Peter Parker in the comics. I thought it was a good ending to the movie. I like when somebody finds out and they can kind of move forward. You know it's going to go in a good direction. Unfortunately, when you see Spider-Man 3, it's not the best direction, but it was a great ending to a great movie.
Wait, Mark, I have a question. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Why is your chair white on this side and and gray on that side. What am I looking at?
It is a little throw blanket
Oh,
that
okay.
Danielle put there.
Like, it's like the chair has
Ah.
good personality.
Yes, this is good Mark and this is evil Mark.
Two-faced.
Exactly.
All right, so
that's it for me.
3.75 for you.
3.75. I love it.
Yeah. Now, Amy unfortunately watched it on TNT with 40 minutes of commercial.
Yeah. But I had seen it before last year when it wasn't on TNT. And I do remember liking it a lot. I'm giving it 3 stars. I didn't love it. I loved it last time I saw it, but I think a lot of the MCU has spoiled me because now it just looks so corny with such bad effects, and there was so much corniness that you've all touched on. So I loved, you had mentioned Doc Ock and his arms, and they made the little sounds like they're going, they were like little characters. They were very cute.
Yeah.
Evil, but cute. So I don't really have that much more to say, anything that you guys have all said, really. I did enjoy it, but 3 stars. Sorry, that's all. I'm not giving much. It's just, I didn't take notes.
And you didn't do your hair this morning either,
Well, I have it up,
right?
but everything about me is disgusting in this bed.
Oh, it's the bed's fault. Okay.
Yeah.
The
I'm
bed's-
hideous. I left my work computer at work, so I'm stuck with the phone.
Yeah, I love the camera work. Could you zoom in a little bit?
And I have
Everybody,
to cover up here, Mark, because I never wear a bra when I do a Zoom. And I didn't realize, it's much different in the bed. It's like, let me cover up the girls.
well,
Understood.
it is cold in New York, and I see her pussy now.
Aw, that's so much prettier. Anyway, so
Is
3
that the
stars.
boy or the girl? Which one is
That's
that?
the boy. That's the boy.
He seems to be more affectionate than the girl,
No, she's very, very, very affectionate.
just not towards him.
Right.
All right, Joel, give us a wrap up.
God, did this movie suck? No.
I happen to
Um,
know this is one of your top 100 films of all time.
Is it? I don't remember. And you got to remember, when I send you that list, it changes the next day anyway. So,
Yeah, well, this
Um,
was definitely on your list.
okay.
And I
Uh,
think that's why I watched it. I had already watched it for the Franken list
Okay.
when I was doing my sequel Saturday, because this was one of your favorite films of all time.
And it still is. It's it does what a good sequel should do. It takes what the original sets up and improves on it in multiple ways.
That's a good
Well,
point.
first of all, they had more money to do the special effects and all of that because Sony
Sure.
was like, hey, we made money on the last one.
Yeah.
Go ahead, spend.
Well, it cost Sony a shitload of money to get the rights to Spider-Man. I mean, for another time, there's a long story about how the rights got to Sony from where they originally started. And it actually involved a trade with MGM for James Bond. So there's a lot of interesting stuff
Wow.
there.
That's a big
But
one.
it's fun. I think it still holds up. I've seen it a number of times, and
Wait, there was one thing that dated it. I was like, oh no, why'd they mention that? I was like, oh, that's such a 2005 thing.
I'm on a payphone. I saw that.
well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I was gonna
yes,
say that.
there are. I don't mean,
It holds up. Well, it didn't hold up for Amy because she said she was spoiled by all the technology of the MCU now that
Right.
this seemed a little.
But it does hold up as a story.
Yeah, that's
I'll give you
what I'm
that.
saying. I'm not talking about holding up in the sense that it's not dated in this. Yes, it's dated in certain aspects. There's payphones. There's other oddities that we don't deal with anymore. And yes, it's dated in the sense that the MCU has kind of blasted into orbit with all this stuff. But as a story, it holds up. I think it flows nicely. It's well acted for the most part. It's fun and it's entertaining. And I don't think you need much more out of a Spider-Man film. especially when we get to the next one. And I think
Until
Sam Raimi,
until the MCU decided they needed British actors to make it legitimate.
right?
We're still using
Um,
Americans here.
Yes. Well, I think that
Alfred Molina is British.
Alfred
Is he?
Molina is British. Yes,
Oh. That's where
Um,
it started.
that's where. Yeah,
All
that's where-
downhill.
I forget what I was going to say. Anyway,
It holds up.
holds up.
It
it's
holds up
fun.
better than Amy's boobs in bed.
There you go. Exactly. I'm gonna go with Mark. I would have given it 4 stars. Had you asked me when I gave you my list,
Right.
it probably was a 4-star movie. I'm taking a couple off just because of the MCU's existence and having gone through all of that. It's
I mean, I
not
think
quite a
that's one
4-star
of the
movie.
reasons why I decided when I did my Franken list to watch every movie again, because your perspective really does
Oh,
change.
sure. It's hard
10
to
years down the
say
line.
that like Captain America: The Winter Soldier is a 4-star movie,
Right.
and so is Spider-Man 2. And it's kind of like comparing apples and oranges almost, but at the same time, you kind of do have to take a step back and say, all right, this is more of a 3 3/4.
I think it's more like comparing a Fiji apple and a Macintosh.
than a
They're both apples. They're both apples.
Sure. I'd say, the MCU is more Honey Crispy, but
There you go.
it's-
Fair.
All right,
Um,
cool. So
so, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
Any
I
other-
think that's all. One quick brief, a couple of quick brief things for the geeks in the audience. Obviously, people, you saw Hal Sparks, you saw Emily Deschanel, you saw
Joe McHale.
Joel McHale, but comic book wise, J. Jonah Jameson's son John in the comic books actually becomes a character by the name of Man Wolf, as opposed to the Wolf Man.
I'm sorry,
wow.
Manhole?
Man,
Wolf.
yeah, he is kind of a manhole, but Man Wolf,
Wolf.
Man Wolf. He turns into a giant hairy wolf because of I don't remember. He brought
So
back
does
something
Mark.
from space.
So does Mark every night.
Yeah.
Giant hairy wolf.
Mark, that
Also, sorry, before I forget, Jameson's wife was Martha Huber on Desperate Housewives, for those of you that watched that show.
oh,
And
She was in
Dave
American Horror
Kim
Story
from
too.
Lost,
Yeah.
Dave Kim from Lost has that
Yep,
one little bit in
yep,
the
Daniel Day
back.
Kim.
yeah.
Doc Ock's
Even had
assistant.
lines.
And Mark, I did totally realize that was Radio Raheem Friday. for
Now
sure.
that you know it's Bill Nunn. Okay, good.
yeah,
Good. I have one little bit too. I read at the time that Toby Maguire almost backed out of this because he was having back issues. He didn't feel like he could pull off Spider-Man anymore. He just wasn't in good shape.
He
And I
backed
guess him
out
and-
because of back issues.
And then he went, so that whole Sam Raimi put in that part when he fell off the car and he's walking around, my back. They totally did that just to bust his balls.
Oh
Well, you
my
know,
God, that's funny.
They were negotiating with Jake Gyllenhaal to replace him.
Wow.
I think I knew that at the time. Yes.
Because of the back problems.
Yes.
Or was it back problems?
No, apparently it was really back
Give me
problem.
more money.
No, it was back
No,
problem.
no.
Frank, that would be back end problems.
Ah,
No.
sometimes she's clever, even Lane does. All right, so that's it now. Everybody good with
Yeah,
that?
done.
All right, Amy, back it up. Back it up. We're trying to make you look good. Cleveland. Ooh, the hissing's gonna
Cleveland?
start. The hissing is gonna start. Here we go, folks. Oh no.
Oh,
She's like, yeah, fine.
Cool.
Wow.
She does not look happy.
that's
Right,
her
but
resting bitch face.
That's her.
Yeah, where did she get that from, I wonder? Okay, so next week we're up to Spider-Man 3, which begins the downhill descent of the Spider-Man movies. And Joel has something to say.
I just want to add there is a second cut of Spider-Man 3 that's floating around out there. It is
Not
it
a
is-
director's cut.
It is not a director's cut. It was not approved by Sam Raimi. Probably wasn't disapproved by him either. It's actually you'll either find it as Spider-Man 3.1 or the editor's version.
The
Because
editor.
the editor actually
That is-
went in and re-edited the film. It is 2 minutes shorter, but it makes a lot of interesting changes to the film. I don't think it makes it any better or worse again, but it does try to eliminate some of the problem aspects. So,
Sorry, I already got my copy from
Like
the
this?
library.
yeah, it's like no, unfortunately,
If
there
it
was
still has this
nothing-
in it, it's still.
yeah, it's still that's still in there, but there's a little less Topher Grace actually. So
That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
anyway.
Okay, so we're gonna watch every Spider-Man movie in the order they release until a new one arrives in December. After 3, we're actually though gonna take a little side trip to review Eternals. And that's it for us. I'm Frank Gaffney. We'll MC you next week.